Alright, and you're live.
Alrighty, looks like we might not have a game.
Alright, one moment.
Alrighty. We got some jamming tunes though. It's always good. I'm gonna give a quick intro, I guess, while we're getting that set up. I am MarquisDan. This is gonna be Wizards and Warriors Trilogy. We're gonna do all three NES games. We're not gonna be doing the Game Boy game, just because I don't own it or know how to play it. This here is my baby. We call her Marquis Baby. She's going to be helping me out until she decides not to. So we'll keep her here as long as we can. Looks like we got the screen now, I think. So this game does start with a memory manip that's not part of the timed run. It takes about 12 seconds. So it's just part of the community's rules that we can set this up. So I'm just going to let the game play out until I hear an audio cue and then soft reset it. And that'll set up a memory manip for the first part of the run. Okay, perfect. So, time is going to start about 8 seconds after I press start. I think we lost the feed again. There it goes. Okay. 8 seconds after I press start, as soon as you see me in the woods again, that's the game start. So, I'm going to press start now. So we do have quite a few incentives for this run. We met our baby incentive, so that's why my daughter is here helping me out. She's a little bit under the weather and a little bit tired because daylight savings time affects babies too. So she's going to be hanging out here as long as she wants. Hi. So Wizards and Warriors, thank you. Wizards and Warriors 1 is kind of a standard platformer, but the gameplay loop is that we need to go collect enough gems to get past a guardian at the end of each level, and that person will generally let us go on to the boss. So what I'm trying to do in this level is collect 100 gems and fight those gray RNG doors. You just kind of have to wait for them to open. There's a little damage boost up to the top of the woods here. We're actually a little ahead on gems. It's good. So I can skip one jump. If I did my math right. Perfect. Alright. So another thing you're going to see me do is collect all these little items. First thing I grabbed was the Boots of Force. And what the Boots of Force let me do is kick open any chest that is not, that I don't have the key for. And then the next thing I grabbed is the Shield of Protection. I don't actually need it, but I'm going to come back to that chest later, and it will have money in it for me, because I already have the item. And the last thing I grabbed there was the Dagger of Protection. The Dagger of Throwing, which just lets me pick up items from a distance and attack from a distance. I'm not making my jump. This is actually kind of a tough jump. First try. Alright. So the main boss strategy here... I died. The bosses do 3 damage each, and I was too low when I came in. The main boss strategy is to kick them instead of attack them, because your boots do 3 damage, whereas your sword, hitbox on this is really giving me trouble. There we go. The sword and the dagger each do 1 damage, and the boots do 3. So you're just going to see me try to kick bosses to death the whole time. So that's our first cave, or first level done. Now we're going on to the caves. We do a blue cave, red cave, and a purple cave. In the manual, I believe this is called the ice cave, but thankfully we don't have to deal with any ice physics. And the caves, I feel like, have really jamming music, especially the next two. Alright, so this is the hardest jump in the game, I think. You have to kind of carry your momentum from one side to the other to make that jump. It's a little tricky to learn, but once you get down, it's not too bad. Honestly, Wizards and Warriors 1 is a pretty easy game to learn if you ever want to get into speedrunning. It's really forgiving because you don't ever run out of continues. You always come back right where you die. This is actually the first game I ever beat when I was a little kid, because you just, as long as you put enough time into it, you're never going to game over. Alright, I've taken way too much damage here, so there's a possibility we'll die on this boss as well, but I'm going to do my best. This cave is pretty dangerous. So I was mentioning earlier the music in this game is really jamming. It's got a soundtrack by David Weiss, who's done a lot of really good old NES music. The problem with Wizard Warriors 1 is that everything resets the song, right? So I pick up open a chest, go through a door, get a potion. The song's just going to start over. So you never really get to hear the music, but I promise it's good. Alright, so this is the bat boss. What I'm going to do is grab as many bats as I can. Eventually, no more bats from the top can come down because there's just too many flying already. Alright, so we get hit once on purpose, kinda, and then we can kick the boss. So that went actually about as well as it can. Thank you. The bat boss is probably the most dangerous boss in Wizard Warriors 1, just in terms of when you die, you have to run down that whole corridor again. It just eats up a ton of time. I should mention iframes in this game. They work a little weird. If you have iframes on, you can't do any damage. So you'll see me just kind of stand there and kick because I'm just waiting for my iframes to wear off. And I want to be in a spot where I can hurt the boss as soon as they come back. So here we're going to take a little bubble taxi up to the top. Oh, didn't quite make it, so I'll have to wait for another one. The goal is to just use one bubble to go up there, get the key, jump back onto it. I think I had my bubble just a little far to the right. This level is the fire caves. It's actually aptly named because there's a bunch of fire on the ground. And it does have a pretty fun glitch coming up too, which I'll show you in just a second. Oh man, that jump's a little tough too. There we go, first try. So this level only needs 50 gems. It's the shortest level in the run. This actually originally was going to be the only level I had the baby on my lap for, but she's pretty calm. So, alright, so we're just going to clip up into this wall, so we don't want to do the rest of the level. And now we're done. Alright. So there was an incentive for this run to kind of thank our restreaming partners, especially Baguette Restream. They donated a lot of money to have me do part of this run in French. So I'm going to be doing starting at the last half of this level and for the rest of the first game. Oh, no, I miscounted my levels. So, the last half of the next level, I'm going to start doing the run in French. I'll kind of explain a little bit more what I'm doing when I get there ahead of time, so that those of you who do not speak French will know what I'm doing. But for now, we got to do the Purple Cave. I think this is the best song in the soundtrack. There's a lot of levitate jumps I'm not doing right now because my baby is got her hand on my controller, and it's a little tough to do them. So I do some backup short jumps, but that worked out okay. Okay. Perfect. So now you're gonna see me hop into a lot of secret doors in this level. In secret doors, your dagger picks up gems at double value, so those all counted as 2 instead of 1. And I need quite a few gems for this level. I need 200. It's the longest level in the game. I don't know what happened to the music. I think the game is actually legit bugged out right now. I'm not going to get those chests up there because they're actually traps, right? So you can only have one item on your select button at a time, and the NES only has like 4 buttons. So the way they got around that is if you pick up any other select item button, you lose the previous one. So I need to keep my boots since they're the most powerful and useful item in the run. So I don't want to pick up those chests. This is also bound to select. I did take quite a bit of damage there earlier, so I am going to just force one death on this level before I get to the boss. So you're going to hear that lovely, like, low health music that this game is a little bit infamous for. There we go. Of course, if the enemies keep dropping health, it's going to be hard to die. Alright, we want to be in like the 170s here, so we're a little bit behind on gems. There we go. That should be okay. There we go. Come on, bat. I think I just need to stop and die because the enemies are not doing enough. just gonna wait for this bat. There we go. So now we can go to the boss with full health. This boss is just kind of going back left and right and kicking. Easy peasy. I should probably explain the potions real fast. So the potions are, the red potion makes me invulnerable. The blue ones make you go more quickly, but it also makes all the jumps that you've memorized like impossible. And the pink potion makes you jump higher. So here we've got a little climb. This is going to be the last English part of the first run. And then we're going to switch to French. For our friends in France who have donated quite a bit of money to this cause, and I want to say thank you to them. Alright, this is a very hard part to memorize. So the main trick in speedrunning Wizard Warriors 1, if you're doing any percent, is that the game wants you to beat 7 levels, right? But it doesn't care what 7 levels you beat. It just kind of counts up every time you beat a level. So what we're going to do at the end of this climb is run into the forest and clip through the left side of the screen, and that is going to kind of set us back to level 1. Hate those invisible gem spawns are super handy casually, but from speedrunning they just knock you around. Yeah, so we're going to clip back to level 1, we're going to do the first 3 levels again, and then the game's going to think we beat the game. Alright, so here we go. We will switch to French. So, bonjour tous mes amis français. Regarde, je suis encore dans les arbres. Je vous ai expliqué à mes amis qui peuvent parler anglais que il faut faire les premiers 3 niveaux de la run encore une fois parce qu'il y a un petit glitch qui le jeu compte le total de les niveaux de jeu. Et il faut que je complète 7 niveaux. Et c'est n'importe pas comme lequel que je complète. Je veux... J'ai besoin de 3 plus monnaie ici. Ok. Alors, je vais commencer à dire désolé à votre belle langue parce que vraiment je ne peux pas parler français. Mais il y a un gars là-bas qui parle Roma et qui m'a aidé à apprendre la langue française. Donc si je dis quelque chose de mauvais, c'est totalement de faute de Roma. C'est pas ma faute. C'est pas si mauvais si je mors dans le jeu parce que voilà. Ça ne me coûte que quelques secondes. Je tourne encore une fois à la première boss. J'ai expliqué en anglais, mais en français, je dirais encore une fois. C'est plus facile à attaquer avec les sabotons. Parce que mon épée et mon couteau ne fait qu'un dommage, mais mes sabotons font 3 dommages. Il ne reste que 2 niveaux en plus. Je retourne dans la caverne de glace. Il y a vraiment de glace ici, mais le nom quand même, c'est la caverne de glace. Je crois que c'est parce que le couleur ici, c'est vraiment bleu. Mais j'ai pas besoin d'être... je sais pas comment le dire en français. Ok. Ici, je dois être vraiment de... j'ai besoin de beaucoup de santé ici pour le boss de la chauve-souris parce qu'il fait beaucoup de dommages. Et si je meurs quand j'attaque le boss, ça me coûterait beaucoup de temps, beaucoup de secondes, peut-être une minute. Donc j'utiliserai le potion rouge pour être invincible. Peut-être c'est un mot en français, je sais pas. Et regardez, il y a beaucoup de petites souris ici. Mais je cours. Et si j'essaie des petites souris ici, les autres ne peuvent pas voler. Donc j'attaque les autres ici. Et attends, j'attends d'abord ça. J'attaque avec ces bâtons. Petit fantôme là. Voilà. Je change à l'anglais. Quelques secondes ici. Was there any donations for the fall to the floor thing that's on this level? Ok, je retourne en français. Il y a un petit incentive ici pour tomber sur le... Je sais comment dire floor en français.
We did not meet the fall through the floor incentive.
Ok. Donc ici, j'attends, vu qu'on est le train de grande vitesse en France, ici j'attends un bout de grande vitesse. C'est la même chose. D'autres seraient trop à la droite, je dois utiliser le bout lentement là. On approche le dernier boss de jeu. Je fais un petit climb ici. J'espère que j'essaie de se santé pour attaquer le. Mais. Je sais pas. Ok, je fais un dernier petit glitch de run ici. Encore une fois dans le wow, le petit wall clip. Ok. Il faut avoir de caution ici parce que j'ai pas de santé. Ici, premier jeu est fini. Je vais dire encore une fois merci beaucoup pour votre donation, les gens français. Et j'ai fini avec le premier jeu. Je dois retourner en anglais pour le deuxième jeu parce que c'est vraiment impossible de faire quand même en anglais, en français, je sais pas. Merci et à la prochaine. Okay, that's the first game. I'm going to switch back to English. I think my baby has had enough of sitting here, so we're going to let her, well, she's tangled up. All right, go baby. I apologize to the French language for the horrors of what I did to it there. So, here we go. Iron Sword. This one's tough. So, Iron Sword is a little bit different than the first game. Here, we're not trying to get.
Is it alright if I get a couple donations in quick?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So during that run, we had a $2 donation from Rice, who says, Kirby.
Thank you, Rice. Thank you, Kirby.
We also have a $5 donation from Kubji, who says, your French is good, man. Love from the French restream.
Thank you, Kubji. Merci beaucoup. Oh, I went the wrong way up here. There we go. So, this game, with Iron Sword, what's happened here is the boss, who we didn't see in the first game, the evil wizard Valkill, has sort of taken over the four elements of earth, fire, water, and wind, and we have to go, like, kick him out of those, like, elementals. The gameplay loop is that you spend the first part of each level sort of like getting a treasure for an animal king who's going to let you go to the second part of the level. So there I picked up an egg for this sort of negligent bird parent who lost their egg across the level and was too lazy to go pick it up. But then they brought me up to these clouds. These clouds are like jumping on trampolines. Like, you need to kind of double bounce to go up. You'll notice I'm taking just obscene amounts of damage, and that's just kind of the hallmark of this game. You don't really have iframes. I mean, you kind of do. But stuff will do damage almost every frame when they touch you. So, especially if they come from the back, like it also has like directional damage. So if something flies through the back of your sprite, you'll take a lot more damage than from the front. So you'll see me like try to turn around a lot. Every level, I need to get a spell to defeat the boss. Every boss is weak to a certain spell. This jump is kind of tricky. I have to time it with those double jumping trampoline physics, and with those guys going up and down. So this is the spell for the first boss. You'll notice I want to point out my magic meter down there in the bottom right. or bottom left, I should say. I'm going to be trying to set up a glitch where I overflow that magic meter, and then I will have infinite magic for the rest of the game. If I don't get it, it's not like a huge deal. I'm also going to be diverging a little bit from the traditional any % route. I'm going to be picking up tons of extra lives, so this time is going to be a little bit longer than your traditional any % run, but we want to be marathon safe. And the reason I'm being so cautious in this run is because after a certain point there are no more game overs. I think it's level 4. If I die and lose all my lives in level 4 or after, the run is just kind of dead. So we'd have to just kind of proceed on to Wizard Warriors 3. There's not a lot I can do, except maybe use a password. So here's our first boss. I'm really hoping for a couple of magic spawns. Dying is not a huge deal on this boss. I mean, it is if you're going for a really good time, but we can still continue at level 1. We got a couple magic drops, so we should be able to set up that glitch. The other glitch I'm using is to pick up those pieces of the iron sword, and I'll explain that in a second. I picked them up with my magic weapon, which lets me pick up items from a distance. And as long as I go through the door before I touch the ground, that will let me preserve my magic meter from level to level. Because of the code that empties your magic meter triggers on the ground. So we got our fly for this very voluptuous frog. Let's see when he comes back here. Sprate's kind of amazing. And then I missed a little cache. We got to go for a backup there. So here we're going to go down into the water level. And this is where we set up the glitch. We're going to really hope for enough magic spawns. I have to wait for all those little score pieces to get off the screen before I spawn the second set of magic, or else I won't get enough. Okay, it looks like we're probably okay, but I want to be careful. Alright, so here is the water boss. This is the trickiest part. Well, not the trickiest. It's the most, like, RNG boss here. And what can happen is I can get hit by those water things as I try to jump up to the end of the level.
Can I read some donations?
Yeah, I'm actually, like, not actually soft locked, but I can't do anything for a while.
Oh, no.
We're just waiting. It's, it'll just play itself out.
Okay.
Okay, there we're good.
All right.
Go ahead.
So we have a $240
jeez.
donation from Roma.
Wow.
Thank you
Yeah, go
again,
Roma.
Roma. Oh my gosh. Who says, I am proud of my student.
Yeah.
GG.
Roma taught me a lot of video game related French while I'm watching my stream. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Roma. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Roma. We also have a $20 donation from Velociraptor, who says, #Lapras2020.
All right.
Let's go. We have an $8 donation from Helix, who says, Laprasky is at it again, and I brought friends this time.
All right. Yeah. Thanks again for all those donations, everybody, especially Roma. It was incredibly generous. All right. So I had to get 2,300 money here to purchase a spell that's going to make me invincible to on the last boss. So we're just going to hold on to that for the rest of the run. I had to do a little backup with the secret door there to get some extra cash. And I'm in a really awkward spot where I need to die to force the game over to get some lives back. Normally in a speedrun you wouldn't do this, but again, we're in a marathon and this game gets really dangerous later. So we need to get as many lives as we can. And gaming over here doesn't matter because I can't game over after this level, like no matter how many continues I have. So I might as well use those up. So I'm just going to hop up here, grab that extra life with my magic weapon, and we're going to head to the top of this volcano. Oh, I forgot to get my crown. The animal boss in this, or animal king in this level, is a dragon who has lost his crown down here, and he's much too big to go into this little door and grab it. I used a magic item to get that through a wall. I had to move a little bit to the left. If I had shot it right from the doorway, there's potential to soft lock there. So you're not supposed to do that. All right, here is our dragon. It's our first dragon of the run. We're going to have another one in Wizard Warriors 3. This one's friendly, the other one is not. And now, just like it's a good idea in real life, just jump into a volcano. And what we want here is to get the Fire Smite spell. And Fire Smite is going to let us kind of attack downwards, and that's really important for this boss, and you'll see why here in just a minute. Alright, there is Fire Smite. And we're gonna see how much I biff on this boss. It's really, if you want to try to go fast, like this timing's kind of awkward. So if I miss too much, I'm just going to take it easy. So here's the boss, just a big pimple on the ground. I don't know. This is the fire boss. The sprite's pretty goofy, but if you're watching in 60 FPS, I'd recommend turning your stream up to that if you're watching. Like, the animation's super cool and fluid. But yeah, we just kind of throw these down, feed the boss. He's hungry. And 3 more hits and we'll be out of here. And we'll have 3 out of 4 pieces of Iron Sword. So let me explain the Iron Sword. That's not that complex, actually. It's just a magic sword that can beat the boss at the end of the game. And that's the whole point of the run. There we go. Alright, so this is where the game gets real. This level has a bunch of... Oh, I missed my magic glitch. Not a big problem. We'll set it up again. So I missed the magic glitch when I picked up the piece of Iron Sword, so I don't have any magic spells right now, and my magic meter is empty, and the infinite magic glitch is gone. So we're going to have to do a little bit of a backup, where we pick up a few magic spawns in this level. If you're ever learning this game, this is the opposite of Wizards Warriors 1. Number 1, things will just spawn on top of you, and you will die. Oh my gosh, can I get past this guy without magic? Oh. We'll see, man. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Come on, Ghost. We don't have any lives left. These bats will kill me in 1 hit. Oh no. Go away, bat. Oh, I have magic. I don't know where I got magic from. Yes. Nice, nice. Okay. I guess I do have magic still. I don't know where I got it from, but I will take it. Oh, that bat dropped a piece. I didn't think I had the spell anymore, is what I was worried about. So, we're still not home free. We have to go up here and get this little magic life, or this life. And I'm just going to hop into this door real fast, secret door, to reset that bat from the left side of the screen. Okay. Probably should have grabbed the magic spawn back there, but I think we'll have enough for the boss. I'm gonna go here. I missed the magic spawn in the first part of this level, but this last boss is, or the boss of this level is pretty easy. I just have to get to him. Alright, so we're gonna hop over here. We're gonna get 1 more extra life. But to be honest, we are in a little bit of trouble for the last boss. I was hoping to have a lot more lives in this. Oh man, we're in serious trouble.
Time for a few donations?
After this boss.
Sure, let me know when.
I have to gamble here because, like, I don't have enough magic to put my invincibility spell on. But I don't have very many lives left, so and I don't think there's any more in the rest of the run. Okay, perfect. You can go ahead.
We have a few to get through here, so try to go quick. Focus Site donates $10. Thank you for your generosity. There's no comment with that one. Grink donates $10. Great marathon. I had a blast over at the French Restream at baguette_restream. Marquis, your French is top notch. Shout out to the
Thanks.
Francophone ALTTPR community. And finally, I have Newt donates $25. Here's for the train wreck that was Fancy Pants yesterday. Good luck to MarquisDan and Bungee to the Tree to close out the marathon. Here's to 2,500, which we have screamed past. We're actually now sitting at 2,604.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I need to know the incentive for the innkeeper right now, because that's this chest.
The innkeeper has not been met.
Okay, that's fine. we're going a little slow anyway because of that ghost and some other things that went wrong in this run, so we'll save time on that incentive. So I am, as long as I don't get like killed by the fire at the last half of this level, we'll be okay. We'll go over a little bit of explanation of where we are in the run right now. So we've assembled the iron sword. You can see the 4 pieces in the bottom right corner after this map. And the iron sword is the only weapon that can damage the last boss, ostensibly. Honestly, I've never tried it without the iron sword because you have to get it to get to this part of the level. The last boss is 4 elementals at once. I have to fight all 4 elements. And they fly around me in a circle. I have a spell that will make me invincible temporarily, but if their hitboxes actually hit mine, they are going to knock me around and do damage even with that spell on. And this game is a little quirky in that I'm going to be on a mountain a lot like this, and the boss can go behind the mountain, and there's 4 of them, like I mentioned before. And they can hit me when they're behind the mountain. So I have to keep track of all those sprites in my head. So it's going to be kind of tough. Not really guaranteed to finish, especially since we had that bad ghost situation at level 4. That ate up a few lives. I was hoping to have at least 2 more lives right now. Additionally, we do not have the magic glitch, so I have to set that up as well while dodging bats. It's going to be a little tough. I want to grab as much turkey as I can. But it's going to be possible to do. If I get a good pattern on the boss, we'll be okay. Go away, bats, please. Okay. So we're going to get the magic glitch because there's 1 more spawn right on the way to the boss. Actually, there's 2. I'm trying not to attack, because every time I attack, I use up magic, and it makes it harder to set the glitch up. Okay, there should be a magic spawn here. There we go. Alright, so here it comes. Here comes the hardest part of the run. And I have 1.5 lives to do it. So, we'll see. You see 4 boss health bars there in the bottom right corner. We're going to do what we can. I'm going to be trying to hit the bosses in the back. Because again, that directional physics. Once I get set up here, oh shoot, it's really hard to get the setup. You have to like stand in a certain spot, but if they have a bad pattern when you're coming into there, they'll juggle you into each other. There we go. We might have a better setup now. This is probably over. That's it. This boss is incredibly hard. This game's never free, just because of that fight. And I don't really have a backup save because this game's from the 80s. There's no saves, so that's Wizard Warriors 2. We got to the last boss. Yeah, the game's just not a guarantee. I just want to show this ridiculous cover art real fast. It is Fabio. That's legitimately Fabio on the front of that game. But yeah, Wizard Warriors 2. Always dangerous.
May I give some updates to Bid Wars?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Quick. So with all of those donations that came in sort of right around the same time, for Pokemon Sword and Shield trainer named Lapras has taken the lead over Ninetales with $110 to $100. It's still a very tight race. There's still plenty of time for that incentive, so get it in while you can. And then, of course, for the Ninetales name, Baguette has surpassed Score Bunny by over $150, with Baguette sitting at $250, Score Bunny sitting at $100. For Wizards and Warriors, Fight Malkill is still in the lead with 11.
Alrighty.
Join at 0.
Cool. The fight's got a fun glitch to it too, so that'll be cool. So this game is much different than the first two. This is a sort of open world Metroidvania style game, where I have to go and get a certain number of tools to get past the barriers. I can go anywhere I want. Eventually I'm going to run into something I can't get past unless I have the right ability. You get all your abilities in this game by joining guilds. So the first guilds we're going to join are the Thief Guilds, because the Thief Guilds in this game are the ones that make you run really fast, and we want to go as fast as we can because we are speedrunners. The Thief Guilds are all auto-scrollers. First one's not too bad, just kind of dodging these little arrows. And then at the end of each guild, you've got a boss that you have to fight. So for this boss, I'm going to be setting up an AI manipulation where the boss is going to continuously dodge. If I mess up my inputs at all, he'll attack me back, but we'll see if it works. Just waiting on this door here. There we go. All right, here comes the first boss. So there's a visual cue on the bottom to tell me where to stand. It's like 7 notches in. Oh, I messed up my input, so we'll try to reset that up. All right, we're going for the backup strat, which is to get hit, apparently. Backup strat. Okay, backup strat is a sort of rhythm-based strat, which I'm not as good at. There we go. Got it. So I took a lot of damage in that fight, but you're going to see that my health is still full when I get out, because your health bar in the guild and the health bar outside of the guild are different. So now the next thing I'm going to do, because I get 1,000 money for beating that level, is to go and buy some keys, because the last Thief Guild will let me open up any door, but I need to get a few keys to get to that spot. Alright, so now we've got 4 keys. And now I'm going to run over to a mini-boss who's holding the statue for the 2nd level Thief Guild. And he's just right here, not a far walk at all. There's actually a brand new strat on this boss. It's only a couple weeks old. Our Tasser Dacicus figured it out. So I messed it up a little bit. We're going to push him into the corner, and then we're going to take a hit on purpose here. And then I'm going to stand on the fire, and my iframes are just going to continuously refresh. And that let me get a ton of damage on that boss. It's a few seconds quicker than the normal strat. Alright, now I'm going to do I mentioned those barriers before. There's one I'm not going to get the tool for. It's a little beehive that I would need a ranged weapon to destroy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to load some sprites into memory, and then that beehive won't be able to spawn. So I have to go to the right here. There's a sort of pixel perfect in terms of height jump here, and that makes a beehive that was right here disappear. So that went perfectly. All the glitches in this game, you're gonna have to believe me that they're working, because if they work right, it doesn't look like I'm doing anything at all. So right now I've loaded 4 sprites in memory. There's supposed to be something here, and it's gone. And now we're at the level 2 Thief Guild. Level 2 Thief Guild is going to give us a crowbar we can use to break into windows. I should mention that second despawn glitch I did. It requires that nobody in town dies, so I can't kill anyone, and nobody in the background can just like walk off a building accidentally, which happens a lot. So like I'll have to keep an eye out for people who are falling off of stuff and like jump into a building really fast before they die, or else I can't do that glitch anymore. And the backup is, I don't know, I'm just really bad at it, so we're going to hope to avoid it. So this boss is kind of like the first Thief Guild boss, except I can't make him dodge infinitely. So I'm going to count notches in the floor. 5, 6, 7. Alright, so I made him dodge back. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stand in a certain spot, attack the air. That'll make him dodge back for a second or so, and then I can get some hits in. Alright. Somebody wanted to come help me. Hi. Alright. That's the second Thief Guild. I'm now Gordon Freeman. I have a crowbar. This is the second fastest costume in the game. And now I have to, just like in real life, every day, I have to go all the way across town without killing anyone. So if anybody dies, I can't set up my glitch. So, there we go. Oh, that guy's okay. I had to get in that door. It looks like I was going to die. There's a faster strat in this guy, but I'm going to go for the easy one. He's going to jump across, and I'm just going to attack the air in front of him because the hitboxes on this fight are just kind of a suggestion. His hitbox extends like half the way, 50% out to the left. My crowbar hitbox is like 1 pixel. It's really screwy. Alright, so there's our last thief statue. So if anybody wants to donate for the orb incentive, that is coming up fairly soon. I've got 2 more guilds, and then I'm probably going to have to cut that off. Oh, I jumped too high. Like I said, this is a pixel perfect jump, so I have to really get it. It might be too high here too. We'll see. Yeah. One more try here. There we go. First try. Alright, so it's our first of 4 princesses. Or sorry, first of 3 princesses. Each princess has a crown jewel. I need these jewels to get to the door to the last boss. And in order to get a jewel, I need to first of all free the princess, and then I also have to agree to marry her. She's not actually going to give me a choice, though. Like, I'm trapped in a dialogue loop until I say yes, so it's a little bit questionable. Alright, here's our last thief guild. And after this, we are going to go super fast. It's, again, the same kind of style of auto-scroller. Same music. All the music in all 3 games, again, it's just wonderful, composed music by David Weiss. Just going to let these chiptunes play out a little bit for you. The third Thief Guild is actually a little easier than the second because there's no maze of doors. The second one had a bunch of colored doors. You have to memorize which ones are traps. This one's just kind of dodging those arrows and knives, and they are always going to spawn at the same time. So as long as you memorize the pattern, it's really easy. So this is the exact same boss as the silver one, but it has much more health. So we're going to try to one-cycle it, but we'll see. It's not always possible. Yeah, especially since I didn't get any early knockbacks. So we'll get it on 2 cycles. Not a big problem. Maybe. Alright, so I only have 1 hit left, so I'm going to let the boss kind of go back to his rest state naturally rather than forcing anything, and then we're going to win. Easy peasy. That was a little scary, because that's like a 1.5-minute time loss if I have to do that twice. Alright, so now we've got our, what's called the master key or the skeleton key. It's going to let us open any door in the game. And I'm going to use a secret door here to get up into the palace. It's just right here. Secret doors are very handy for speedrunning this game. There's our first knight statue. Alright, and this is the only knight guild we're going to do in the run, and I think it has like the coolest music of any of the guilds, so I'm going to be quiet for just a little bit because it's just some cool tunes. Alright, there we go. That's nice. That jump relies on a subpixel that I don't know if I have before I get there, so it's fun. And this boss, you can force him into a rest state by intercepting his attacks, but he eventually his animation speeds up so fast that you have to take 1 hit. So, alright, so this is going to be our cutoff for the orb incentive if we have it.
We have not.
Alrighty, so we're just gonna climb up here. So now we're into the biggest RNG, or about to be to the biggest RNG portion of the run. So if you guys can get me some Bless RNG emotes into chat. But first we have to stop by the 1970s castle, which has the best wallpaper in the game. There is a really RNG dependent way of like jumping up on top of enemies that appear in these windows in a tower on the right side of the map. It would never work in a marathon, but it can save a lot of time. But here we're worrying about RNG from these spikes that spawn on these spots here. We got a fantastic pattern actually. And then this guy can occasionally just kick you. Now I'm going to be worried about some birds that can spawn in the air and this guy on the right. So we got a good bird spawn, and the guy on the right didn't shoot at me. However, the best RNG in the world does not make up for the fact that I missed my jump. So then I ended up getting hit, and I had to reset everything by jumping in that door really fast. Alright. This is our second princess. There's one princess in each area. There's caves, the town, and the castle. So this is, I always like to call her Rapunzel because she's up in a tower. But that's our second princess. So now we're just going to jump down here. There's a few ways to do this. I like to see the castle on the left side to kind of know where I'm at. A lot of people jump down the right side. But now we're just going to try to fall all the way to the bottom of the map without taking damage. Although, honestly, it's any percent, and we're going to glitch the last boss rather than fight him, so it doesn't matter. I can go in there with 1 health. This is the bouncer boss that I use as an incentive in the All Guilds category, but we don't have the tools to fight him here, so we're just going to let him sleep. This is our first of 2 wizard statues we're going to get. So I don't know how you think you might become a wizard, and the answer you're going to see in a moment is that you must jump on onions. Most people think you might have to learn from books or study or whatever, but no, we're just going to jump on onions in front of shag carpets. So all of the wizard guilds have this same pattern of platforms. So if you memorize it once, you know how to do all 3 guilds. The second guild, which we're not doing in this run, has a monster that appears halfway through. The third guild, which we will do in this run, is the hardest part of the game. The platforms are less than half the size, and the corners are glitched out, so you can't land on the corners. The physics get really wonky, so it'll be... Hopefully we get on the first try, but it's a source of time loss, and my estimate's padded for it. That boss has really long iframes, so it took me a long time to kill him, but he's really easy. You just stand in one safe spot, and he can't hit you back.
May I get a quick donation in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dizdon donates $11, saying, "Let's make Ninetales the name. Team Lapras can't win."
Nice.
Well, I'm telling Team Lapras will win. Come on,
All
people,
right.
donate for those donation goals. Those bid wars still coming up for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Not a lot of time left.
All right, thank you for the donation, Diston. All right, we're going for a pretty hard jump here. Got it. That was tricky. All right, so this is our worm boss, who's I think is the most fun to fight in the game. It's just really satisfying. I don't know. He's got the same pattern every time. He'll shoot at you. The only RNG in the fight is from when he shoots. But it's just one of those cool, like, hit a snake or a worm until it runs out of body segments type of thing. We have to fight 2 of them. The second one, again, it has the same pattern every time, but it can spawn at a couple different points in that pattern, so you just have to memorize both ways. The only vulnerable spot on the worm is its head, and as it starts losing body segments, it starts moving faster and faster, so we have to sort of, at this point especially, we have to start like leading the worm. We have to know where it's going to go. There we go. That is our worm boss, and this is our gold statue. And this is where the run starts getting real, because this guild is tough. I always tell this anecdote of when I was learning this game. I was also trying to push for affiliate on Twitch, which means you have to have a kind of like, you have to have a certain average viewer count, right? And one of my streamers, one of my friends would raid me with like 70 people. And I was trying to learn this part, and I would just fall down this guild for like 25 minutes with like 70 people watching me. It was it's like the worst thing. But we will hopefully get this done in 1 or 2 tries. This guild was the bane of my existence when I was a kid. So if you look, these are tiny, and they don't, like, once you're on top of them, it's okay, but like when you're landing on them, because of the way it's calculating the movement, I think that it will like shunt you through them. It's really easy to clip into them on accident. So I have to be really careful and try to land in the center. There's one in particular when there's 5 of these on the screen at once. It's the hardest and most infamous jump in the game. It's coming up next, actually. So this jump. Okay, we got it first try. That is the hardest jump in probably the whole trilogy. Alright, so this guy does not really have appreciable iframes. I have to mash with my left hand on the D-pad to attack. So I can't mash as fast as I could if it was my right hand. If you're left-handed, actually this is probably the game for you, because all of the attack mashing is left-handed. I want to say we might finish ahead of estimate, but I don't want to promise anything until the dragon is nice to me. The dragon is just an RNG fest.
Can I get a couple donations in before then?
Yeah, we're just platforming now, so that's perfect.
Yeah. We have $5 from Focus Site with no comment. Thank you very much. I believe that went towards the Lapras trainer name. We also have $15 from SexRex, who says #Team Ninetales.
Nice.
Thank you both for your donations. Keep them coming.
Yeah, sounds like that name bid war is really heating up. All right, here's our last of 3 princesses. And our engagement count is up to 3, so hopefully that will not bite Kuros in the butt later. So we need 4 gems to get to the last boss. We have 3. The last one is held by this fearsome 3-headed dragon. If you're scared of big scary monsters, probably look away, because this sprite is very fearsome. We need to use our Wizard 3 costume to kind of float up here. And we have to fight him while standing on these tiny little platforms. I've had a pretty good run so far, so I'm going to try to attack him from up here. The top route is much more dangerous than the bottom, but you can get a lot more hits in. So this boss, you're not really worried about taking damage, you're worried about getting hit. And getting hit can knock you off these platforms, and that resets the whole fight. So if he knocks me down once, I'm just going to take the safe route. If she wants, she can sit on my lap after this fight. Alright, so we only got to hit the boss 4 more times. Hopefully he doesn't knock me off. Oh my gosh. Okay, I wasn't even worried. Alright. So, now I'm going to shoot a bunch of fireballs in the air. And what that does is that is going to store the Y value of those fireballs in memory. And that is going to be used for the glitch on the last boss. Right now we have a sort of long climbing segment. It's a perfect time for any more donations or announcements, because it's just going to be a couple minutes of trying to do as tight platforming as I can. But otherwise, yeah, we just get into our pajamas here. We're going to try to levitate when we have to. Otherwise, we're going to run and jump, because levitating is very slow. The trick for this part, since there's really not a lot of danger, is just to, try to optimize your jumps and take as few jumps as possible. The way the physics in this game work is running is fastest, jumping is like 75%, I want to say, of running in terms of speed, and then levitating is like the slowest thing that you can possibly do. So there's going to be 2 screens of cave, 2 screens of town, 2 screens of palace. So we're on our first town screen right now, which means we're almost halfway through the climb, and then we're going to be on the last boss. Here is our last town screen. So let me explain the glitch on the last boss while we got a second here. So like I mentioned, I shot a bunch of fireballs in the air before, and so those are stored in memory in the NES right now. The boss is going to fly around the top of the screen, and he's got a few different patterns he can do. And when it goes to figure out what the next pattern should be, I've sort of overwritten that value. And when he goes, if I'm levitating on certain pixels when he goes to try to read that number, he's just gonna die. Like the game doesn't know what to do, and the boss just explodes. It's kind of fun to see. Did we happen to get any more bids on the bid war, or I'm just killing the boss?
The bid war stands at fight with $11.
Perfect. Alrighty. So what I'm doing right here is called the Alcove Trick. I call it the Alcove Trick. I don't know. It's just a quirk in the physics of the game where instead of going straight up, if you go at a zigzag, it's actually faster. It's just weird. Alright, so here we have the good King James. He's the actual king of town. Malka has sort of tied him up and taken his spot. The artist for this game, one of the Pickford brothers, said that he based this room off of Mario 3. I don't know if you can probably see some similarities there. Time is going to be coming up in just a few seconds. And time. There we go. That is Wizard Warriors Trilogy. That's actually a PB too, by about 30 seconds. So, yeah. Whew. Hey, come here. Hey, hey you. Okay. All right. Yeah. Want a quick shout out to my wife who came up to Minneapolis with me, and my baby who's helping me play, and to the Wizard Warriors 3 community, especially Jackie and Ascus who taught me how to play. Also, Johnny and Limit Break who are good guys in the community too, and then also to Barton and Arcus who kind of got me into speedrunning. Also want to shout out the Midwest Speed Crew for letting me have an hour to play my favorite games and just show them off. Because I think this is kind of underrated trilogy, so it's always cool to be able to show it. So that's it for me, and thanks, and I hope everybody has a good day.